The Art of Being Alone by Renuka Gavrani. Part 1. Turning Your Loneliness into Solitude. 1. Stop romanticizing loneliness. If there is anything that can be crueler than that, it's nurturing false hope in your heart just to see them crushing every piece of you at the end. You must have watched those YouTube videos or maybe read books that encourage you to romanticize your life, haven't you? Well, I have. To be honest, only by watching those videos do I fall back into my imaginary world where I am the queen of the world, at least of my world. Just after imagining how it would feel to romanticize my life, I used to feel a different kind of excitement running through my veins, something that I cannot explain in words. You might be thinking, Renuka, if you love the concept of romanticizing life, then why are you telling me to not believe in it? Well, after experimenting, learning, watching, and reading about romanticizing life, I came up with this one explanation. Everyone is already romanticizing their life. They just don't know the nature of their character yet. Confusing? Yeah. Let me tell you how you are already walking down this path and why this can be the most dangerous thing for your future. But let's understand what romanticizing life means. Romanticizing your life means becoming the main character of your life as if your entire day is being recorded. In short, you act like you are in a movie playing the role of the main character. But here's the thing. Consciously or unconsciously, we all act like our favorite movie characters anyway. In any typical movie, the story starts with a girl and a boy. The girl is broken and finds herself in a dark tunnel with depression, stress, and anxiety, not to mention poverty, misfortune then. Then the boy comes into her life as a hero who saves her from this cruel world, gives her hope, teaches her how to love, and finally falls in love with her. And after that, both of them face this world together as if God was conspiring from heaven for their paths to collide. Sounds familiar? If not the girl, then the boy is broken and the girl comes as the goddess to play the same role that we have just read. And if there is no love story, then there is a friendship that revolves around the same thing. A broken, depressed, and pathless person meets with another person and they become best friends for life. Most of the movies, web series, books revolve around the same plot where one is broken and the other one comes as the guardian angel, which I like to call good drama. Now, the problem is that people like you and me have been watching, listening, reading about these kinds of life incidents since childhood, so much that subconsciously we have become convinced that one day someone will have become convinced that one day someone will come to save us, rescue us, or rather fall in love with us. All my college life, I was waiting for a friendship like that of Joey and Chandler from Friends, but nothing like that ever happened. I never had a best friend either in school or in college, but I always wanted one. The kind of best friend we see in web series and movies. Perhaps that's the reason, and even after having a bunch of friends around me, I used to feel incomplete. But if I look back in time and see the world from a fresh perspective, I can see a little girl wishing to have the same teddy bear she saw in some random movie. So what's wrong with this anyway? Well, your imagination shapes your reality. And here you are, sitting there thinking how broke you can be and then how a perfect angel-like person will come to save you. The problem with this is that you choose to believe that you are not enough to change your life all by yourself. You rely on someone who doesn't exist. And that's why, when things don't happen as per your imagination, you start feeling even more lonely. As if you had something, but you lost it. If you had created an imaginary friend in your mind, you have who you think will turn into reality, I would say don't betray yourself. No one is coming to save you or make you laugh or travel with you around the world as it happens in the movies. Life is not a movie. Move on from your hopes to get ready to see them crushed, believing that someday you will meet perfect friends who will become a part of your soul is more like creating a graveyard of your hopes The more you focus on meeting new friends, the more it will hurt. You'll feel even more lonely thinking that you could have something, but you didn't. You will have to mourn the loss of someone you never had in the first place. I'm not saying that you wouldn't meet new people or you wouldn't be able to make new friends at all. I made some good friends after college through Instagram, but one harsh truth about that is after a certain age, you don't make soul friends. You just meet people, help each other who need it, and are nice to each other so that you have good people in your network. As a content creator, I come across a lot of people, but I know in the end that they and I are in touch with each other for the sake of networking. After college, you don't make friends, you just network. You just try to be nice to people so you are not left behind. Mostly. But if you start imagining every person who is nice to you as your future buddy, then you are practically digging a graveyard of your hopes. Let me tell you one thing from experience. If there is anything that can be crueler than that, it's nurturing false hope in your heart just to see it crushing every piece of you at the end. Instead of imagining yourself as a character who needs someone in the first place, imagine yourself as the main character of the movie. That is your life. A movie like your life hasn't been made yet, and a book like your life hasn't been written yet. And that's why you have the creative freedom in your hands to write it as you want, make it as bold, as wild as you want. Make it as long as you can, and above all, make it about yourself rather than following an old pattern that doesn't empower you. You don't want to play the role of victim in your own life. You don't want to see yourself crying for someone who never had. You don't want to victimize your character, do you? The art of being alone. 2. The pain of hiding your true self. The most painful and scariest thing in the world is to look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring right at you. The false hope that someday someone will magically show up and the fear of looking like a weirdo make us do things that we never intended to do. Since childhood, we have learned that the kid who is alone is a weirdo. They're alone because no one chose them. We don't want to seem a weirdo. We don't want people to think that no one chose us. So what do? We start becoming like an ideal version of whom everyone loves. We start saying yes to things that we hate. We start dressing up in clothes that make us uncomfortable or out of our budget, but at the same time help us get noticed, accepted, and acknowledged. We start speaking the words we find cringy. We start saying things that are acceptable and popular. We start doing the things that make us look like everyone else so that we don't appear weird. We indeed become an ideal version of happy, cute little human whom everyone adores or at least no one makes fun of. But step by step, as we become like everyone else, we go far away from who we truly are. The more thought you give to what people think of you, the less attention you give to what you want, what you like, what you think, and how you would like to enjoy life, and more importantly, what makes you you. It's like becoming a people pleaser without realizing it. The gap between who you truly were and who you have become in the hope to fit in grows so much that even you find it difficult to recognize yourself. And that gives birth to loneliness. People start becoming like the most acceptable version in the hope of finding their tribe that they lose their real selves. And that is the reason we call the time we spend with ourselves lonely. Loneliness is not when you don't have people around. Loneliness occurs when you cannot find yourself inside you. The moment you feel the loss of your real self, loneliness makes a home inside you. That's the worst kind of loneliness where you might be surrounded by people yet you feel lonely. It's like you cannot feel yourself, like you are not there anymore. And do you know what's even more ironic? It starts with you trying to become someone you are not because you wanted to fit in, but it leaves you hating being with yourself. Tell me something, how can anyone accept a person who doesn't accept themselves? How would anyone love to spend time with a person who hates spending time with themselves? Where does it leave you? Nowhere. The race of achieving people's acceptance and love, you end up losing yourself. I have spent the majority of my life trying to be nice to people so that I can be an adult person. I said yes to outings when I wanted to stay at home and read a book. I kept talking and smiling when I wanted to excuse myself because I was tired or had some work to finish. I even dressed up when I wanted to go dressed casually. All of it so that I could be what people wanted me to be. However, what I didn't realize at that point was that I may have become an ideal version for others, but what about being an ideal version of myself? What do I think of myself? What are my opinions about myself? What do I like and don't like? What are my fears? What are some things that I want to do in my day to day life? Yet I don't because I have become an expert at silencing my inner voice. I know I'm not alone in this. We all are the same. Since childhood, we have competed against each other. Whose child is cuter, smarter, or more intelligent? Either we try to be a perfect version of ourselves for our parents so that they can be proud of us, or we try to appear cool and fun so that we can be a part of the most popular group in college. We have run this race for so long that our real selves couldn't keep up with our pace of changing personalities. Our real self is hidden in deep inside under the layers of social and corporate etiquette. We do the things that seem cool instead of trying new things that our soul wants. I'm a pro at that. I want to learn a bunch of new things. I don't have time. Yet, if any of my friends call me and share their shit, I will be all ears so that they have a shoulder to cry on. What we don't realize is that just as we stop talking to people who ignore us, similarly, our souls stop communicating with us when we silence them once too often. And one day, when you are alone with no one to hang out with or click saucy pictures with, and spending time with yourself is painful. Why? Because there is so much hidden inside you that if you sit down to uncover the layers, years will go by, but you won't be able to find the real you. That's why I say there are some days when you miss yourself more than you have ever missed anyone else. I'm no expert in psychology, nor am I a therapist. Talk about what goes inside a human brain, but I am a human and I know what goes inside a human's heart. We all are trapped in the same cycle of pleasing people around us so that we are more accepted and appreciated. We ignore what we are feeling because of who has time for that. We don't do what gives us real joy because that's probably old school. The burden gets heavier with each passing day. With every day, your real self goes farther away from you. Your images become blurry, and it becomes painful to take a look deep inside yourself. I have made these mistakes and I don't want you to do that. So, in the following chapters, we'll discuss how you can become more you, which will help you turn your alone time into solitude. Thanks. Chapter 3, How to Be You. The need to fit in, to be like the most famous and cool person, and to be accepted lovingly is inherent in all of us. But how long do you think you can handle this? For how long do you think you can suppress your real identity? For how long are you going to be different with different people? You try to be different with everyone around you. You are different for your partner, different for your boss, different for your friends, and different for your loved ones. And in all of this, the real you is lost. You have lost your real essence, your real self. Imagine yourself as a computer and see how you have opened different tabs of your personality for each person you meet. New person, new tab. Perhaps that's the reason your real personality has crashed. I'm not a saint. I have tried hard to change myself into the most acceptable and loving person of myself as well. There are times when, by default, I try to hide who I truly am or what I am thinking just to represent myself as a wanted person. Why? Why do we have to try so hard to get others' attention? And is it worth losing our real identity? Do you know what's funny? After losing ourselves completely, we fall for those self love hacks. Sometimes I feel like we are kidding ourselves. I'm not a love expert, God forbid, but I know one thing that you fall in with someone when you get to know them, isn't it? So let's find you so that you can fall in love with the real you. Shall we? A. Self love starts with self acceptance. I have been using social media like a spy for the past year. During this time, I have seen the growing popularity of self love and more. The more definitions I read on self love, the less I became interested in even thinking about self love. Self love has become more like self pity. If that wasn't enough, giant companies and clever marketers took advantage of this growing popularity of self love to sell cute shampoo bottles, expensive perfumes, and things like that. While I will never understand how self love became about decorating yourself from head to toe, I want to share what self love means, a definition that is less accepted and discussed, as clear cut as possible. Self love is about two things: knowing yourself, what you think, how you think, what is your true nature, what is hidden behind all the manners and etiquettes, what is your personality, and the like. Accepting yourself, acknowledging everything that is inside you and accepting it, be it good or bad. Most people hide their ugly side somewhere deep inside them so that no one can know their dark side. However, what you don't realize is that the deeper you hide, the darker it gets inside your heart, and that darkness will swallow you bit by bit until you can no longer find the sunshine. Society has made us believe that we must always be loving, caring, and cute. That's what we see in movies and web series, right? Good people are good to everyone all the time. We all instill a desire subconsciously that there are good humans and bad humans, and if we can fall under the good human category, then we will be loved and appreciated and accepted as well. Then we try hard to be nice. We try to be good to people even when they are abusive to us because that's what good people do, right? And this trial period keeps training you because how can you be good all the time? How can you love others when you are hurt yourself? How can you be kind when you need to help yourself? Trying to meet the criteria of being a good person until you kill something inside you. And then suddenly you realize, oh, I need healing. Wow, what a trap. And this reminds me that even though we all want to be good and nice, sympathize more with the villain of any web series or book. Why? Villains show us that we all can be bad at times, not intentionally, but because we are designed to feel all kinds of emotions. We are not mobile phones where you cannot use Android features in iOS or iOS features in Android devices. You are a human. For God's sake, start treating yourself like one. Villains teach us that our dark side doesn't define us. It is still a part of us, since society is not very welcoming with traits that don't fall under the good girl or good boy category. We just try to suppress everything inside us that we genuinely feel, think, and love. I don't know when you or I started silencing our inner voice, but we have done it successfully enough to seek the definition of self love in the external world. If you ask me, I used to think I was a good person too. I believe in kindness, love, compassion, and being warm to people. I want to be the reason people still believe in kindness and love. But at the same time, I know I'm not God. And I make mistakes. Mistakes that at times hurt people. But hating myself for making mistakes, or for letting go of people, or for saying whatever I feel cannot make me love myself. So, can we please stop playing this game? Can you please stop pretending that your dark side doesn't exist? Let me share an example from my own life so you can relate better. As I said, I want to be nice to people so that I don't become the reason someone cries. But after 2 years of constant self examination, I've realized that I can be selfish at times. Yes, that's true. I'm not all good, nor am I God. I have chosen myself over my friends many times. However, the whole self love journey made me realize that it's okay to accept myself as a selfish person.
That's one of the truths about me. I know good people are not supposed to be selfish, but I am. I can either hate myself for that or learn to use this one trait in my favor. Learning to choose myself, my happiness, and my career over anything. This one truth about me made me realize how I function in relationships. Since I know my behavior, I would always set my boundaries clearly so people know what they can expect from me. This clarity is what brings peace to your relationship with yourself and others. If you don't know yourself, you'll make similar mistakes in your relationships with everyone, and then if people leave you, you will wonder, why doesn't anyone want to be with me? Maybe I'm not just lovable, or maybe there's something wrong with me that pushes out people away. Self love, my dear, is not only about taking bubble baths and applying expensive makeup to call it a self care day that justifies your lifestyle. Self love is about knowing everything about yourself, however ugly or dark or bad your truth is, and accepting yourself with it. Self love is about knowing how to transform your flaws into your strength rather than hiding them inside you so that no one can see them. Self love is about choosing yourself every single day to study your patterns, examine your behavior, and pay attention to your thoughts. Self love is about creating a home deep inside you where you can be yourself without worrying about healing, pretending, or perfectionism. You are beautiful with your dark side by not hiding it under the mask of goodness. I feel pathetic even saying that there is a dark side in all of us. Because it's not even our dark side, it's just who we are. That is how we are designed. That's what makes us unique and different from each other. You don't have to be bad to people, you just have to learn to not loathe yourself for having some traits that are not accepted in our well dressed society. Be proud of who you are and accept every bit of yourself. Now, that you don't have to be all classy and classy to love yourself. I guess it will be a lot easier to get to know yourself. Let's go on the journey of meeting you then, shall we? Self love grows with self acceptance. Your inner world has more wonders than the seven wonders of the world. I wish I could tell you some hacks and techniques to get to know yourself, or perhaps a schedule or a video that you can follow. But the sad news is, you are not a subject that you can just study, understand, and close the book. You are human. Well, yes, not brand new information, but without stretching it unnecessarily. As humans, we change rapidly, we evolve. Our preferences change, our working style changes, and our priorities change. What worked for you yesterday might not work for you tomorrow. What you liked 3 months ago may not be your preference today. What you liked to spend your time 6 months ago might be something you hate today. Hence, hands down. I'm sorry, but I cannot give some random acts that just sound good on paper and make you feel inspired at the moment, just to make you feel guilty for not following them later. Yes, I know this is a self help book, and I am supposed to give you some good looking techniques. But, darling, you're not a constant self improvement project, a journey to self. Knowing yourself is not a 1 day job or a 3 week long project. It's a lifelong journey. We are living in a world of distractions. It takes less than a second to start wishing for something that we never wanted just because everyone else seems to have it, enjoy it. In such a world where you are always surrounded by noise, it's tough to stay connected to the voice deep inside you. And let me say it again, it's a lifelong process to know yourself and also not to lose yourself. There are a few things that helped me, and I hope they will help you as well. These are not instant hacks, but everyday habits that I follow today, so be ready to execute them. Come face to face with your mind. It's a joy to be hidden and disaster not to be found. By T.W. Winnicott. When you are alone, you are dealing with just one mind, yours. Some treat it as a luxury while others treat it as a punishment. During your alone time, you are on your own. Your mind has a way of pulling you back to everything that had gone wrong or go wrong in your life. Your mind plays tricks on you to create unnecessary worries. When COVID 19 hit the world and we were forced to stay inside our homes, I did a lot of digging in my mind. Initially, it felt more like a punishment because I wasn't ready to listen to the thousand thoughts that my mind was generating, that I realized how my mind never sleeps. This gives me a reason to worry about. Hence, the itch to go out in public and ignore the mind's voice. Perhaps this is the reason why so many people end up being in toxic relationships. People are afraid of what their minds will do to them. They are afraid of what their minds will make them believe, and they are afraid to what their minds will push them to do. As Rollo may said, many people suffer from the fear of finding oneself alone, and so they don't find themselves at all. I dug deeper into the problem and said to myself, being with me doesn't have to be so cruel and tough if only I become more mindful. I started doing more meetups with my mind to understand myself better, to know what goes in my mind, how I think, how I react, what triggers me, and everything that I was once afraid of uncovering. And if there is anything that I realize with these regular meetings, mind, it's that your mind is not stupid, nor is it your enemy. You cannot stand being with yourself because there is so much buried inside you, things that you don't want to admit. But let me tell you one thing, there is freedom in knowing yourself. You feel like nothing you can hurt you when you face everything that your mind was threatening you about. So instead of finding ways to silence your mind, get up and come face to face with whatever your mind has to offer you. There were things about myself that I didn't want to admit. However, now that I have accepted it, I don't fear my mind. I'm working on those things to upgrade myself. Use your alone time to know yourself. When you are alone, you are dealing with just one mind, one set of choices, behaviors, and thinking patterns. Hence, it becomes easier to study yourself and get to know what you like and what you don't like, how you think and how you react. The reason most people find it so difficult to sit with themselves or read your thoughts is that there is too much untapped and unnoticed, and obviously, years of ignorance have created a vast pool of things that you need to deal with. So it may seem a little scary when you sit and boom, your mind starts attacking you. That thing you did years ago, some regrets and mistakes that are living in your mind rent free to give you something to worry about one on days you finally decide to be happy, or maybe some bad thoughts that keep returning even when you don't want them. Most people cannot muster enough courage to face it all. Hence, the smarter way seems to be it all by throwing short term pleasure on your face, like watching Netflix or going out with people you don't like. The simple fact that you don't know yourself is a reason you accept the bare minimum from people. They help distract you, and this is what you want, don't you? So, yes, there is a lot inside you, but it is all a part of you. So, there is no permanent escape. You have to face it all, one day at a time, one thought, one regret, one guilt, one bad decision at a time. And I promise, once you face it all, once you uncover all the layers of your past, once you acknowledge everything that your mind was threatening you against, you'll feel free, like you can take a breath without any fear. That's the start of peace. Never give yourself the time it requires to uncover what's buried inside you, everything that you have been ignoring for such a long time, every thought you are afraid to accept, every decision that you regret taking, not taking. Set yourself free. It won't be easy, but it will still be worth it. It will take some time, but my advice to you is, if you can do one thing, try this challenge. Every day take out at least 10 to 15 minutes to just be with your soul. You must take some time to know yourself, a time when you don't have to fake it and when you can completely accept yourself without any judgment or fear. Practice, sit with yourself and try to read your thoughts like you're reading a classic book, like you're spending time with the most amazing person on this planet. Say and feel anything without worrying about what people would say. You can share your trauma or unhealed past as if you are your therapist. One day, it will become interesting to get to know so much about yourself. You'll feel excited to know why you laugh at a certain joke and why you eat a certain dish in a certain style. It will start feeling like falling in love with yourself. Know yourself. The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. Michael de Montaigne. I was in high school when one of my professors said, "You all seem to act too smart, as if you are the kings, queens of the world." While in reality, if I ask you to speak about yourself as many minutes as your age, let's say, if that's your age, then none of you can speak even for a minute. He paused, looked around the room, and continued. "And when I say about yourself, I don't mean the worldly tax that you have accumulated, I mean the real you." Then I didn't understand what he meant. I thought he was being angry for no reason, but now, after reading a bunch of spiritual books, following the path of spirituality myself, and paying attention to my soul, I have come to realize that you and I are beyond the title of this world. However, we all have become a collection of tags and labels that we have either willingly imposed on ourselves or that the world has stuck on us. The tags of a good or bad person, sad or happy, poor or rich, loving or hateful, failure or successful, writer or lawyer, beautiful or ugly, smart or dumb, supportive or toxic. The list of such fancy tags wouldn't come to an end until the day you die. And that reminds me of truth. When you and I were first born, we were free from all the worldly tags. For us, nothing was good or bad. We were just there at the moment. Perhaps that is the reason why people love babies so much. When you are with a baby, the baby doesn't judge you based on the black and white societal tags. The baby doesn't say, "Oh, this girl is brown. I wish a young, white, tall lady was carrying me." The baby doesn't say, "I don't want to be around this dumb person who cannot score good grades or I'll become like him." The baby doesn't judge you based on past mistakes, future goals, color, religion, or social status. The baby is just a cute little creature looking right into your eyes with curiosity. You make funny faces so that the baby laughs, and when the baby does, it makes you so happy, as if you won a Nobel Prize. Why? Why is happiness so effortless when you are around a baby? Why are you so you when you are holding a baby? And most of all, why don't you judge a baby when you look at him? Why don't you say that this baby would have been a little more attractive if he was a little cuter or born into a rich family? Why don't you compare a baby to any other baby? Because the baby allows you to without making you feel insecure about the shape of your nose, the color of your skin, the zeros in your bank balance, or your grades. You can be you when you hold a baby, and so can a baby be just a little human without getting any life advice or judgments from you. The tragedy is that we all were babies once too. We all used to spread love with our smiles whenever anyone took us in their arms. We all were once complete and beautiful. And we used to make other people feel complete and beautiful too without giving them any tags. I cannot say exactly which concept, incident, or system made us question ourselves and others, but somehow we lost our way. We lost our capability to be happy for no reason, to feel beautiful, and to not judge ourselves or others. It may have all started when we started accumulating tags from the external world. The more tags we collect, the faster we start losing our authentic selves. Society likes to put you in a box because it is easier that way to market products. If you have a dark complexion, buy this fairness cream and so on. It is even sadder that you start treating yourself and others as a tag. But enough of this stupid system that likes to cage everyone. The system is stupid because no one is happy. I am here to beat that system. It starts with you and me. And to break that system, here is what we can do: free yourself and others. When I was around 10 years old, there was a death in my family. It was my grandfather's brother's wife. I remember one of my relatives talking about me. She said I didn't look as good as other girls in my family. Can you imagine? There has been a death in the family and people are busy accessing the children's looks. How do you think I must have felt on hearing that comment? I remember not considering myself beautiful till the age of 17. And no, I know how it feels to be judged negatively. But what I also remember is that I tagged myself as ugly, and that shattered my confidence till I grew up and learned better. It happens to all of us. Everyone gets different kinds of tags from the world, defining themselves as per the tag. And that tag can leave its imprint on your heart until you can no longer bear its burden. I suggest you let go of all the tags that the world has stuck on you, tags that you have attached to your soul, and free others from the tags that you give to them. Don't define people, don't put people in a box. Don't give them tags because your one tag can be a pain in someone else's heart. And if someone else is giving you tags, instantly mutter in your mind, yet another tag? But I don't want it. Be free and let others be free too. Don't make your life feel like a burden. When we start defining ourselves with one particular thing, our entire focus revolves around it. And when that one thing goes wrong, we feel like a failure. This does not just apply to our professions but in our relationships as well. Let's take an example. If I say I am an author and put it as a label, I will always judge myself based on the number of copies of my books that have been sold, how many people loved my book, and the chatter around my book. If someone doesn't like my work, does that make me a bad writer? Something similar happens in personal relationships as well. When we become attached to one person relationship, that person or relation starts defining our existence. That person can control our lives. That relationship can break our hearts into pieces if someday it ends. It could be with your romantic partner or your parents. If your mother doesn't acknowledge your efforts, does that make you a bad daughter or son? Am I just a collection of tags and labels? Should I spend my life collecting all the good tags like an obedient daughter, son, loving partner, good sister, brother, supportive friend, smart writer, and more such tags that are acceptable in society? And what if someday I fail? What if I end up hurting my friends because I have my share to deal with? Does that make me a bad person? What if my books don't do well? Should I stop writing? I believe that we are much more than the titles of the world. Think a particular word cannot define our core being. One tag cannot describe you or me. We are more than just our professional goals and personal life relationships. All these things are external. You and I are piece of everything we own. Every place we have traveled, every person we have met, and every word we have read, everything leaves a mark on our soul that paints our personality into who we are today. We are stitched together by the songs we enjoy, people we love, adventurous experiences we have had, books we have read, and the characters in them that we lived for a while, and many more small things like these that shape our perceptions and personalities. But when we remain restricted to one particular tag, we put ourselves into a cage while expecting to behave, talk, think in a certain way. Perhaps that is why there is no uniqueness left in you and me. We are walking the same path as everyone else. But I think that our entire personality or existence should not revolve around one person, one thing, or one tag. We should be undefinable. Like no one can put us in a cage. Like if someone even tries to define us, it should take them hours to talk about our personality. Like I don't want people to say, Renuka is a great author with excellent writing skills. I want people to say, Renuka writes in a way that makes you feel safe, loved, and understand. She loves writing and reading. She lives in a world that exists beyond the human mind. She loves nature and often finds herself gazing at the clear sky, looking for another secret of the universe. She loves coffee and she drinks it like it's a drop of heaven. I understand these things cannot be noticed by others, but they can be noticed by you. You can live better. You can become undescribable for yourself. Like if you pause to talk about what you do, you have to think, what should I talk about first? And that's why I said earlier that learning about yourself is a lifelong process. You can change every day a little. You evolve with every song, every book, every article, every video, and every thought you come across. This is the reason why sitting just once and defining yourself wouldn't work. If you want to know yourself, you have to be interested in yourself for the rest of your life. And you must remember one thing, you are beyond a particular tag. You cannot be labeled, be undefinable. Let them wonder who you are while you create a personality for yourself that makes you fall in love with yourself every day. Define who and what you are not. Let me tell you one thing. When you walk the path of self exploration, you will realize one thing, you are not easy, but that is one of the key reasons why people give up on themselves. It becomes a lot more to handle than it sounds. When I started my self exploration journey, I was overwhelmed and confused. I didn't know where to start. I'm not a subject, and there wasn't any index that I could follow. After a lot of trial and error, reading and experimenting, I followed one piece of advice that helped me get started on my journey. The advice, if you cannot figure out who you are, figure out who you are not and who you don't want to be. It's easier to know who you are not and what you never want to be than to start with who you are in the first place. When you make a list of who you are not and who you don't want to be, you will also get a sense of clarity what you don't like and why you don't like certain things. It helps you get to know your choices, principles, and thinking patterns better. Start by making a list of things you hate or are against, and alongside write or make a mental note of why you don't like those things. Take it as your assignment and sit down every day for 5 minutes alone with no disturbance around you. Let yourself be immersed in your personality. Write down one or two things that you think you don't like about yourself and then why you don't like those things. It will help you to know your values, hence getting closer to yourself a little. Not only that, you'll also understand that you are not a follower and that you don't accept every definition that's been thrown at you. It will help you think independently without accepting the world's definitions. Though, let me give you a warning. As you get to know more things that you are against, but the world accepts, don't share those things with anyone. Yes, I'm asking you to keep your opinions to yourself. Let people think you agree with them, and that's not because you are a people pleaser or you are afraid to voice your opinions, but because the world is full of clowns. Not everyone has an open mind to accept that differences of opinion can exist. Don't go out there and scream your perception. Don't assume that people will agree with you. That's the reason most people just follow the crowd. They know if they voice their opinions, they will be kicked out. This fear is one of the reasons why most people are followers, not thinkers. Make sure you don't make that mistake. Give your opinions only when specifically asked. Otherwise, keep your thoughts inside you. I do it all the time. I know that people are different from me. Their upbringing, educational background, and experiences are different from mine. So it's obvious they wouldn't have similar opinions. I don't judge them for their opinions and I don't let anyone judge me for mine. Just because someone's opinions are different doesn't mean they are superior. Maybe if you stay silent and listen to the other person, you'll get to discover a new perspective. So go ahead and make a list of everything that you think you are not, or what you never want to be. While I was in college, almost every other student used to drink. I never touched it, even when my friends asked me to at least try. Why? Because I know I was not this, and I never will be. If you compromise with your principles once, it will become your habit to cheat your principles and towards school. I'm not saying you should drink or should not. I'm saying I never wanted to try it. So I stood my ground. Now it's your turn to stand your ground. That was the one reason I was often misjudged and left alone. I didn't want to just belong to some group. I wanted to be with people who align with my values and principles. This is the thing about knowing what you don't want. Once you set the boundaries clearly for yourself, you stop taking the garbage in. You stop taking the bare minimum from people. You stop laughing at jokes that are not funny. And you stop saying yes to everything because now you know what you are not, what you don't want, and what you will never be. It raises your standards. It makes you feel that you are not here to cater to everyone or adjust to everything. You simply learn to politely reject what you know you don't want. It's that simple. There's no such thing as learning to say no. All you need to do is learn to know what you don't want. Set the standards high, and if people cannot match up to those standards for you, then they will automatically stay away from you. This is how you attract good people and stay away from toxic ones. Your eyes become blind to those who are toxic. In one simple glance, you can tell they don't align with your values. Chapter 4, The Love for Solitude. Wayne W. Dyer once said, "You cannot be lonely if you like the person you are alone with." That I believe should be enough to close this part of the book. But you are reading a self help book, so you want me to keep saying something until you are forced to believe that solitude is good. I'm not going to do it. Do you know why? Because that's our problem. We want others to make us believe in something, hold our hands, and show us the path. And when people leave us stranded in the middle of the journey, we feel lost, like it's all dark and scary. What you don't realize is that you need to walk alone to reach where you want to go. Everyone has different goals, so they cannot take the same route as you. You will meet some good, bad people on the way, but eventually they will turn the other way to move towards their journey. And in the end, you will be left alone. The choice would be yours whether you want to stay on the way and cry and scream at the people for leaving you while they enjoy their journey. Or do you want to keep walking and get closer to your dream destination? In both cases, you will be alone, but the choice of crying and seeing yourself as a helpless person or to keep walking and enjoying the journey will be in your hands. After fifth grade, I never stayed in any school for longer than 2 years. I kept switching schools until college. Being an introverted and extremely underconfident child, it was already quite tough for me to make friends, and when I would finally make one friend who could turn into my best friend, I would have to start from scratch again. I had a close friend in high school who is now married, but I had to leave her because I changed school. Then I had another close friend in 11th grade, but then it was time for me to leave my hometown and shift to another city for college. And then, as God was creating a perfect illusion, I met my then best friend on the first day of college. For 4 5 months, the two of us were such a great friends that even professors knew that we always stayed together. For the first time, I felt like I had found a best friend. But then I got sick and had to come back to my hometown for 15 days. When I went back, I had already been replaced. I knew that now I no longer fit in her definition of fun. So boldly, I asked her to pick either her new friends or me. Well, you can imagine the rest. I was alone for almost 3 to 4 months back then. I met some new people after this 4 5 month gap, and long short story, they became some of the most amazing people I have ever met. I met my girl gang whom I still miss. These girls made me understand that women uplift each other and women need each other more than they need men. Society tricked us into believing that women are women's biggest enemy. But honey, you cannot even imagine what a woman can do for another woman. Now back to my point, when my college life came to an end and I came back to my hometown, obviously we had to leave each other. I was with my friends for a short period, but leaving them felt like leaving a part of me. When my college life ended, I thought distance would not come between true friendship. This is what social media gurus say, right? The initial few months were great. My friends and I used to connect now and then gossip about our college, remember the stupid things we used to do, and share our general life updates. It was going well until after a few months, every one of us got busy with our work. And even when we tried to make out time to have a call, we somehow ran out of topics to talk about. Our lives, professions, and environments were not different, and so were our priorities. It was in those moments that loneliness started hitting me. I know, even though I have said that loneliness and being alone are two different things, and I stand by my words, it is also true that your heart misses people who made you feel at home just by their presence, their stupid jokes, their gentle touch, their inspiring words, and their hidden care and love. It all makes you miss them. Missing the people who you cannot be with anymore and realizing that you wouldn't be able to meet the people who are a part of you creates loneliness. What I realize is that people are seasonal in everyone's life. They came and go, for good or bad. What I meant is that we are just manipulated by all those great movies and web series on friendship and romance into believing that there is something called forever. However, when your friends or partner leave you, you feel betrayed, lonely, and incomplete. You and I have nourished a belief that people have to be available for us 24 by 7. But real life doesn't work that way. People are not ambulances who can be available to you whenever you want. They have got their share to deal with. They have a career to work for, a family to nurture, a goal to achieve, and a few breaths to inhale in silence and solitude. This was one of the harsh truths that I had to accept when my college life came to an end and I had to say goodbye to my friends. Initially, I used to feel sad and lonely too, but later I realized that this is how things are going to be for the rest of our lives. This is a part of adulthood. When you have to say goodbye, even if you don't want, when you have to let go of people to get on with your career, that's why I said earlier that loneliness is a part of the journey. I'm not saying that you have to choose between career and friendship, but it happens automatically that you wonder, how did my friends slip away from my hands? That's the bargain of making a career and living your dreams. Yes, some people are lucky enough to have both, but that seldom happens in reality and more in movies, books. One of my favorite series is Friends. But if you observe this series, all six friends hang out with each other all the time. They are always sitting in that coffee shop, but that's not possible in reality. You have a job, career, studies, and a lot more things to look after. You cannot just sit around together all the time. So let's make a new belief, or rather an agreement, that you will not expect people to stay forever. Not because they are bad, but because they have a lot to deal with in their own lives, and that's a part of growing up. The concept of forever is just a fantasy that you have brought from some random series. In our generation, forever means following each other on social media and once in a while commenting on each other's posts and keeping each other in our memory lane. That's it. Other than this, if you are expecting anything from anyone, you are just preparing yourself to get hurt. So kill your expectations of other people and realize one simple truth. You are on your own now. Expect for you. No one is going to stay by your side forever. So, even if you are around people or you find good people in the future, know one thing: you cannot be dependent on anyone. You'll have to create enough space in your heart for yourself so that being with yourself feels safe and loved. And being with people feels like a bonus and not a short term pleasure or escape. So ask yourself what you want for yourself. If you choose to keep walking, then make one more choice, the choice of loving the person who you are with, and that is yourself. When you love yourself, you'll view the journey as a treat. As I said earlier, it's liberating to be with yourself. You are with just one mind, one voice, one type of opinion and perception. You don't have to take the burden of becoming who you are, not to please people you don't like, just to fit in, just for them to hold your hands until the end. When you know you can walk alone just as fine, you will be astonished to experience the simple joys of life that your soul enjoys. I hope you understand what I mean. I'm not asking you to push people away. Never do that. It's hard to find people who truly love you. All I'm asking is for you to not forget yourself in the noise of the world. The next section of the book is based on turning solitude into an opportunity for growth. But it can only happen when you start viewing your loneliness as solitude, as a privilege, not a curse. When you are ready to walk with yourself, let's learn to walk towards your dream life. Shall we? Part 2, Turning Your Solitude into Your Growth Period. Chapter 5, Practice the Art of Being Alone. Some people are alone because they don't have friends or family. Some people practice being alone because they want to stay connected to themselves. Georgia of Cafe was an American modernist artist, often called the mother of American modernism. She was born on 15th of November 1887 and was the second of the 7 children. Georgia was brought up on a farm near Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. By the time she graduated from high school, she had determined to make her way as an artist. O'Keeffe finished her studies at the Art Institute of Chicago and the Art Students League in New York, where she also learned the techniques of traditional painting. When she studied the revolutionary ideas of Arthur Wesley Dow, it shifted her approach and direction towards artistic practice. Dow's philosophy guided Georgia towards an alternative to established ways of thinking about art. She experimented with abstraction for 2 years while simultaneously teaching art in West Texas. Eventually, Aukefi developed her style to express her ideas and feelings through a sequence of abstract charcoal drawings. Sometimes later, Georgia sent some of these highly abstract drawings to her friend in New York. The same friend showed them to Alfred Stieglitz, the art dealer and renowned photographer, who also became the first to exhibit her work in 1916. By the mid 1920s, Georgia was known as one of America's most successful and important artists, well recognized for her works of New York skyscrapers. A cafe was at the peak of her career when she found herself restless in the big city life of New York, craving an escape from the crowds. While Stieglitz, now her husband, was a social butterfly, O'Keeffe preferred being alone. She would say, "There is a kind of freedom in being alone." Finally, in 1929, after much deliberation, O'Keeffe left for New Mexico for the very first time. The trip turned into the first of her many extended trips in the desert. Georgia spent months in the desert wandering alone, living in tents with nothing but her art supplies for the company. In 1934, O'Keeffe purchased a piece of land on a ghost ranch and permanently moved to the desert. She spent almost 4 years setting up her solitary abode. She didn't have a big house. It was small and minimalist with an amazing view of Caro Paranal Mountains. That house became her little heaven, where she lived for almost a century, deliciously alone, in blissful solitude, making art till her body allowed her to. Georgia O'Keeffe's art and the inspiration behind it were simple. I had to create an equivalent for what I felt about what I was looking at. That can't be. Georgia O'Keeffe is not the first nor the only artist who found inspiration in solitude. History is filled with examples of legendary artists, warriors, and or writers who found their hearts speaking to them directly when they spent time with themselves. Much like Georgia, Nikola Tesla preferred solitude and said, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. No big laboratory is needed in which to think. Originality thrives in seclusion free of outside influences hating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. That is why many of the earthly miracles have had their genesis in humble surroundings. Vincent van Gogh
One of the most influential figures in Western art was a Dutch post-impressionist painter. Though Vincent became popular only after his death, he created over 2100 artworks in his lifetime whilst living in solitude. Vincent often felt lonely, but instead of crying over it or finding fake degrading company, he used his art to express himself and his experiences with loneliness. He once said, "Though I am often in the depths of misery, there is still calmness, pure harmony, and music inside me." These are just some of the examples of great artists who chose to be alone so that they could eliminate the external noise which would have taken them away from their true nature. Cal Newport talks about how all the great artists, writers, and inventors choose to spend time with no distractions so that they can connect with something deep within themselves and create a true masterpiece. The irony is where our generation is treating solitude as loneliness, something to escape and feel ashamed of. There was a time in history when all the great minds sought solitude to travel inward. Solitude was once a luxury to experience the calmness of the world that lives inside us. I wholeheartedly believe that this cannot be random. The system around is designed very carefully, and after a deep analysis of our basic human nature, we as humans do need other humans to feel safe and protected. That's how we function. And all these giant companies are designed to keep our need for validation as local point as they can trap us in a cycle of misery. The life of George Cafe is proof of how solitude helps us reach our greatest potential. Look around you and you will observe the people who are setting boundaries and working on their goals, dreams are the ones who don't have a large group of friends. They are the ones who are alone, not because they are miserable and pathetic, but because they are choosing to leave the noise behind. The people who are always ready for a party or another get together or just seem to waste time scrolling through social media are the ones who have zero goals with no real connection and a lot of time to pass judgment on who is doing what. It may sound a little judgmental, but tell me if it's not true. People who are up to something, people who are working towards the future or busy creating the art don't have time to feel lonely. Rather, they crave to be alone so that they can focus. Focus is a new luxury. In a generation that is happy being distracted and easily manipulated, focus doesn't come easy. And if you think that I am exaggerating, then tell me one thing. Most people are addicted to social media and their mobile phones are in general. They all want to know how to get rid of mobile addiction. Yet, the very next day or week, they find themselves swimming in the pool of endless posts and videos that have nothing to offer you. I mean, why and how? If you, the master of your mind, want to get rid of social media, then why are you not able to? If you, with a mind of your own, want to focus, then why are you not able to? Because it seems you are no longer controlling your mind. Your mind is now a device controlled by these giant tech companies. I find it bewildering that people search on YouTube or read books on how to be productive. You might be thinking, Renuka, how does any of this relate to practicing solitude? Let me tell you one thing. You can never achieve anything good in life if you keep following the rules of others and seek guidance from people who don't know the first thing about you. Your real guidance is you. Your heart knows what needs to be done, and your mind is capable enough to figure out how. If you keep filling your mind with the thoughts and opinions of others, you will end up becoming and thinking like them. There would not be a single shred of uniqueness in you. You will end up becoming a copy of the people you listen to on social media and in real life. That's why they say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. My question is pretty simple here. If you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, then how will you become an average of yourself if you don't spend any time with yourself? If you become like the person whom you spend the most time with, then does that mean you're going away from your real self or you don't spend any time with yourself? Perhaps artists like George O'Keeffe knew this from the start. They all knew that to create real art, they had to become real with themselves first. Hence, they chose solitude. We have already learned why loneliness is not a cause and how we were manipulated into believing so. But you need to learn that solitude is the only way to create real art. Sure, you and I cannot leave everything and everyone behind and shift to Mexico, but you and I can consciously choose to spend some time with ourselves so that we can become more like ourselves. At least we can touch the reflection of our true personality and experience the luxury of our minds. Let's first learn how you can practice solitude and then how you can use your alone time to grow yourself, digest, reflect, and reset. Okay, weird question. But tell me honestly, has it ever happened to you that someone presented your favorite food and you ate more than your body could take? And then you felt so stuffed that even breathing became a task. Now, if someone asks you to walk 10 kilometers in such a situation, would you be able to? Probably not. And I'm speaking from experience. Something similar happens with our brains. Excessive eating can make you feel tired, sluggish, or exhausted. And if you eat junk, then sometime it can even cause vomiting, stomachache, or worse, food poisoning. All in all, it's very obvious that what you eat, you will produce. In simple words, junk in, junk out. So, safe to say that by eating junk food every day, you cannot expect to build a healthy body, right? You also understand that you cannot force your body to eat constantly for 2 hours. I mean, it's a dumb question. But I'm just making sure that we are on the same page. You eat, you feel stuffed, and then you don't eat for another 4 to 5 hours until you feel hungry again, right? Then why do you treat your brain like a dustbin? Why do you keep consuming content like your brain can take it all consistently for hours? Why do you expect your brain to work creatively when it's so filled with garbage that even thinking straight feels like a task beyond your capacity? Just as eating junk food doesn't give you a healthy body, similarly, consuming junk worthy content won't make you any smarter. And just as you don't feed your body with food for hours, similarly, you cannot feed your brain with information and knowledge all the time, or it will use up every bit of mental power and make your brain sluggish or drowsy. I don't know how to make it simpler, but your mind will give you what you give to it. Junk in, junk out, and be consistently feeding your brain for hours. You will end up destroying your basic mental peace, mental capacity. Just as your body needs the time to digest what you eat, your brain also needs the time to digest what you consume. That time is a period of conscious solitude, where you choose to sit alone to let your brain digest whatever you consume without any disturbance or external noise. There is so much information and content out there, so much advice and hacks, and so many people and their own different opinions and perceptions that if you don't put a break on it, you will end up drowning in this vast sea. We are constantly consuming information from the outside world, but we never give our minds enough rest to digest what we have consumed. We are surrounded by so much information, opinions, and data that even we don't know what's entering our minds. We listen to something powerful and something said powerfully and start believing it without using our brains. It doesn't matter what the content is, positive or negative. What matters is you don't think anymore. YouTubers, podcasters, authors, or social media influencers are also people, not God. Hence, it is not essential that what they say is correct or suitable for your life. Eliminate what doesn't make sense to you. Don't just consume content and say, oh my god, what a video or what a podcast. Think before you let any advice or thought sit in your mind. If you never leave your mind alone and constantly fill it with garbage and others' opinions, you will be nothing but a collection of your external world. There is a world inside you too that you need to travel and explore. Your mind has a unique thought process and opinions as well that you should pay attention to. Tell me, if you never sit alone to listen to the voice inside you, how will you ever know what is going on inside you? The thoughts that enter your mind when you are alone and disconnected from the world are the thoughts that reflect who you are, what matters to you, and what's your thought process. Sitting alone is tough, I know, especially for people who have a great deal of practice in laughing and stupid TikTok videos that wouldn't matter for after a second. You have trained your mind to live on cheap entertainment. You have trained your mind to numb itself as you waste another 2 hours scrolling social media. You don't feel tired when you see your mobile screen for hours, but you feel tired when it comes to studying, learning new things, or working on the real stuff. Then you feel distracted. Why? Because that's how things are designed. You don't need to focus on laughing at stupid jokes as you see on social media or be lost among trending videos. That's why it's easier to enjoy social media, and that's the same reason why your mental muscles are getting weaker. You and I are practicing every day. Do not practice focus. Read that again. All I can say is that sitting alone will be tough initially, but it is the need of the hour as well. You need to give your brain the time to digest what you consume, reflect on what is important, and delete what's not, so that there is enough space again to feed your brain again. You need to give your mind the time to reset and let it be alone for a while to create a world that is unique, artistic, and known only to you. You need to choose to sit in solitude, feeling the freedom that comes with your company, and let your mind take some rest from the noise of the external world. Otherwise, as I said earlier, you will end up becoming an average of your surroundings. The time you spend with yourself will help you filter out the garbage, curate your own opinions, analyze your thoughts, and study your beliefs. In simple words, detox your brain every day. Art of getting bored. When I was starting my journey as a writer, I used to watch and read the interviews of famous authors, and one thing was common in all of them. They all said the best ideas come into their mind when they are not looking for them or not doing anything at all. It's not just the authors, but if you ask any creative or artistic person, you will get the same answer. And I always thought that it was impossible until it happened to me. We are always busy. One task after another, one email after another, one video after another, one thought after another. The cycle never ends. We never pause to reflect on who we are becoming, what we are losing, what we are thinking, or what our thought processes. When you are just taking outside information without thinking about what you are consuming, you end up doing thinking and becoming like your surroundings. And then you complain about not having creative ideas. When I started spending more time alone, I gave my mind much needed rest to relax and recharge while decluttering the unnecessary information my mind had stored. And trust me, in the most unexpected moments, I started getting much beautiful ideas that I never thought were possible for a person like me. It is the relaxed mind that generates more ideas than a stuffed mind, which is so full that it might throw up. If you keep feeding your brain with something all the time, then you are leaving no room for your brain to digest that information. It's proven that your brain needs time to process that information, and when there is no gap, it all becomes a mess in the brain. That's the reason why some people feel tired all the time, why they cannot focus, and why creativity seems to be far from their reach. In a world filled with major stressors and to do lists, it can be difficult finding time to just do, well, absolutely nothing. And this is the biggest reason why you should find some time to do nothing. Elizabeth Gilbert, in her book Eat, Pray, Love, explains an Italian concept, dolce far niente, which translates to the sweetness of doing nothing. Doing nothing means doing absolutely nothing. No mobile or no social media, no book or gossiping, just you in the moment with no hidden purpose. It means slowing down without hurting your mind in multiple directions and just being. The sweetness of doing nothing or the art of being idle is somewhat similar to me. Our world is full of cheap entertainment. As soon as we feel bored, we put on Netflix or watch a bunch of people dancing on YouTube or doing weird acts on social media. All in all, entertainment is at our fingertips and we access it at any time. But that is making us weak and numb. We wear the word busy as a badge of honor. If we are not working, we are focusing on personal development, traveling, being productive, starting business, learning, growing, creative, etc. And not being busy feels scary. For some people, it means that they have to meet themselves face to face. For others, it means not feeling worthy. Some people can't handle not being perfect and useful. When we have free time, it just doesn't feel right. We have learned to either silence or numb our brains. We throw either short term pleasure or entertainment or a big to do list at ourselves every day so that we are always busy. But what we don't realize is that being purposely idle is an art. In a world where you have thousands of opinions at your fingertips to enjoy, it's an art to know how to feel completely satisfied with doing nothing. Not only do you put a full stop to unnecessary content and give your mind the much needed relaxation when you consciously choose to do nothing, but you also learn how to practice self control. Most people go back to their toxic exes or friends because they cannot bear the thought of having no fun in life. People feel bored, so they accept the bare minimum from others. But why? Being idle is more like a form of meditation. You do nothing, you sit alone with yourself. The only condition is to be aware of your mind. Don't let your mind slip back to negative thinking and self sabotaging. You learn to control your mind. You learn to control your desire to be with others. You learn to control your desire for cheap entertainment. You learn to give up on short term pleasure. This builds self control. You learn how to be bored like an artist. And then your mind rewards you with the most amazing creative ideas. The kind of ideas that you never expected. You cannot get out of the world ideas when you are spending all your time doing something and not letting your brain communicate with you. You wouldn't get creative ideas just on your first day of practicing the art of getting bored. The first day will feel like a total waste of time and probably you will curse me. Your mind will play tricks on you, reminding you why you are not enough or that time something bad happened to you. And before you know it, your time of getting bored will turn into overthinking. But that's where you need to learn to be an artist. As you practice the art of doing nothing, you leave your mind free to wander the distinct world inside you while being fully, completely, absolutely aware of where your mind is leading you. Just when you realize that your mind is dragging you down, you take back control and perhaps consciously choose to think about something else that relaxes your mind. It's an art, so it will take time. But not only will it make you more creative, it will also teach you how to become the master of your mind, how to control your desires and become more patient and calmer like water. Belong to yourself. Knowing how to belong to yourself is an art in a world where everyone is finding their home in others. I might sound like a little rude, but here is a truth about life. Nothing stays forever. People whom you love today will leave you, or you might have to leave them, or they might change. People cannot stay by your side 24/7. We have built a world where chasing success requires going miles away from family and friends, shifting to a new city for a new job, or leaving home for college. Life and people change. Our priorities change. And in that case, if you never learned how to belong to yourself, you will end up feeling lonely every time someone leaves you. You should keep your heart open for your loved ones so they can walk in and make you feel loved. You should enjoy the company of those you love, but you should also learn how to enjoy your company, your own company. One of my friends has been in a relationship for the past 5 years. Her life revolves around her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had to shift to another city, which is a nearly 12-hour drive from her. She called me yesterday and said, I don't know what to do without him. My life revolves around him, and now that he is away, I feel so empty. I'll say the same thing to you that I said to her. Make your life your little garden where you have all types of flowers, as in people and interest and hobbies. So that you always have something or someone to love and receive love. Have friends you love, enjoy,
the hobbies you are passionate about, and adore your pets. Create things and build that relationship around you that keeps you excited so that love is always around you in every form. Life will be more colorful that way. Learn to belong to yourself without feeling the need to be with others. Where there is a need, there is a settlement. You will settle for less. But when you are satisfied with yourself, being with others won't come out of your desperation but rather from a genuine connection based on love and care for one another. You'll be able to select who you want to be with, and rather than living at the mercy of others to be selected. And if you want to learn how to be satisfied with your own life and build a life that makes you feel proud of yourself, let's learn to use your alone time as your growth time. Shall we? The Art of Being Alone by Renuka Gavrani. Chapter 9. The Action Plan. You cannot build your dream life until you figure out what you don't like about your life right now. Do you want to change your life? Everyone does. But the question is why? Can you give me two reasons why you want to change your life? What is something you hate about yourself or your life that is itching you to change your life? If you cannot come up with two strong reasons, then all of us will just feel like a motivational speech to you, which you'll forget in the next 2 days. Without knowing what you want to change, what will you work towards to change? You need to sit down and make a conscious list. What are some of the things you don't like in yourself or your life? Knowing what needs to be changed is the first step towards your dream life. It's obvious that your dream life looks different from your current life. That's why we call it dream life. So ask yourself, what is the difference between your dream and your current life? Not only the professional reason, but dig deeper and analyze differences in each area of your life. When I say each area, I mean personal, professional, emotional, and mental differences. When I say each area of your life, I mean what your dream day to day life look likes. It's not a sudden magical one day thing. To be able to create your dream life one day, you will have to act like your dream version every day. Read that again until it sinks deep within your soul. Life doesn't change one day magically. You change how you live every day. So let me say it again. Take a pause, sit down at a quiet place, take a piece of paper and write down 5 things that you don't like in your life right now. Whether it's your current job or your sleeping schedule, no one is coming to make that list for you. You need to do that for yourself today or wait until you're 70 to regret the life you lived. You cannot become the person of your dreams if you don't imagine what your dream version looks like and if you don't know what is wrong with your current version. Let me tell you a secret. It's okay to be harsh on yourself sometimes because extreme self love can take you away from reality and you start living in an imaginary bubble. We don't want that. We want to love who we are and be excited about who we are in the process of becoming. So be honest with yourself. Don't pretend, oh, I'm the perfect person and there is nothing wrong in my life. Nope, darling. That's toxic self love. Your deeper inner self knows what you are capable of and how you are living less than your real potential. This gap creates self loathing, and this gap can be filled by starting to become honest with ourselves. Be honest with yourself. Before you demand anything from others, learn to be honest with yourself. Have the courage to accept that you are the one killing all your dreams. Stand tall against the lies or your brain might want to throw at you. You'll meet enough people in your life whose actions won't match their words. You'll meet a lot of people who are going to lie to you. While you cannot control how others treat you, you can learn to be honest with yourself. Deep down, you always know what's best for you. You can sense when to leave a person because you're just being used. You realize when you did wrong and when you were wronged. You just stay in your comfort zone and keep things as they are, and your brain will play tricks on you. You'll make great excuses to convince yourself not to start working, give a person another chance, or keep eating junk food until Monday. That's because honesty with yourself is the toughest thing. You get to live your worst fears and are
left with no option but to work to improve things. Yet, honesty with yourself will make your life way more satisfying. You will be happy knowing you did what was best for you. That's where self satisfaction starts. Step 1: The power of one thing. One of the biggest mistakes we make while trying to improve ourselves is that we focus on everything at once. We try to hit the gym every day, make a gratitude list every day, eat healthy every day, and the like. Focusing on everything at once drags us down to a level where we find ourselves giving up on everything and later accusing ourselves of being a failure. You cannot change everything at once. If you try to, you will just burn yourself. You will make the journey toxic and suffocating for yourself. And even after working so hard, when you don't get results in any of the areas of your life, you give up on everything. And what does that do? It lowers your self respect. You start thinking that you can never achieve anything good in life. The catch is to focus on one thing at a time. Why? Because changing one thing in your routine is easier. It easily sinks in, and when you start seeing the result in one area, not only do you feel happy, but your self-respect increases too. You gain confidence to try to improve more things in your life. In 2020, I resigned from my job in the hope that I would become a successful freelancer. I tried and failed. For months, I didn't get a single client. I was depressed and had no means to pay my bills. That was the time when all my college mates were earning great money, having vacations and buying stuff with their own money. I was jealous and I just wanted to prove to myself that I was moving forward. So I started writing on Medium, which is a platform for writers. I didn't have any hopes for my endeavor. I just wanted to prove to myself that I was doing something at least. I hit the goal of writing one article every day. 10 months later, I had 10,000 followers, and that wasn't enough. I received so much from my audience that it boosted my confidence. I started viewing myself as a loved writer. I always believed in the power of words, but after receiving so much love on Medium, I started believing in the power of my words, and that's how I ended up writing my first book, The Wounds of My Words. It still feels like a dream, an illusion. If someone had told my 10-year-old version that I would be an author one day, my child version would have laughed. If someone had told me in 2020 that I would be an author one day, I would have become even more depressed that they were making fun of my situation. I didn't consider myself a good writer, but now, oh god, I cannot believe I'm writing my second book. It all happened because I made one decision in 2020, and it wasn't just a decision, it was an action. One action every day for 10 months transformed me from an underconfident writer to a loved author. I want you to do the same. Forget about big sudden changes. Forget the hope of magic. Take out that list you made earlier and pick one big issue from that list. What do I mean by one big issue? Well, back in 2020, a lot of things were going wrong in my life. I wasn't in good shape. I had skin allergies all over my body. I didn't have any idea where my career was going, and all of it dragged my mental health down. See, you need to understand one important thing here. People will ask you to work on your mental health as if it's homework from your school teacher. Your mental health is the result of the current state of your life. If something is going wrong in your life, then mentally you will feel stressed, depressed, or anxious. The bigger the issue, the more stressed you will feel. In my case, my career was my biggest concern. My second job was quite toxic, and my boss used to yell at me now and then. She used to say that I could never make it as a writer. I was doing the work of an intern there, and when I left my job in the hope of a brighter future just to find myself struggling to get clients, my boss's words started ringing in my head like an alarm. I started believing her words as truth. I started questioning my worth, and all of it made me depressed. After reading over 200 books, if there is anything that I have understood, it's this: action is the cure for almost everything. So I decided to jump on Medium. Now, you know how the rest of it goes. You'll find a lot of flaws in how you are living today. There might be a bunch of things that you don't like about your life at the moment. But you need to understand that you are not a magician. You cannot make everything work at once. You need to become an essentialist here. Choose the one biggest issue you are facing in your life right now. What is that one thing that keeps pulling you down? What is that one area of your life that makes you feel anxious and distressed? What is that one aspect of your life that makes you feel stuck in one place? Identify that one big issue. This one big issue can be the reason why you don't like to be alone. You you know that as soon as you are alone, your mind will send you notifications of what's wrong in your life. You know that when you are with yourself with nothing to do, your mind will pull you back, reminding you that your life sucks. You'll feel the itch to change and improve everything at once, but remember that you are a human. You cannot focus on multiple things at once with similar efficiency. When you are focused on improving one thing, not only does it become easier to measure your performance, but you also feel excited. You don't feel the pressure of changing your world in one day. Now, I would suggest you close the book for a while and take some time to identify that one big issue, because next we will discuss how you can work on that one area. Step 2: one big action. After deciding which area of your life needs more attention, it's time to take action. But the question is where to start. Most people make the mistake of randomly starting with external motivation, and by the next week, they feel clueless. It used to happen to me all the time. In the past, I tried to adopt a healthier lifestyle. I would feel motivated and decided, what? I'm going to become healthier this year? Well, in less than a week, I would find myself stuffing fries and pizza in my mouth whilst watching a rom-com on Netflix. But as I shared earlier, when I started writing on Medium, I had just one goal, and that goal was based on action. From the very first day, I was clear. I even wrote this on my WhatsApp group. I have a group with myself where only I am added. It's a great hack. Make a group only for yourself and send yourself messages that you would like to receive from others, messages that you can send to your current self to calm down and think straight, or maybe a few things as a reminder. I messaged myself that my goal is to write one article every day. I never made any Excel sheets or brought any templates or any cute journal to track my progress. Do you know why? Because I didn't overburden myself. How tough is to track one action, one article every day? Either I wrote or didn't. Simple, right? You need to understand that setting big goals that sound cool and energetic is fine. It shows your enthusiasm, but it also represents that you are out of your mind. People set goals all the time. They keep making giant promises to themselves only to make excuses in the end. And then they expect other people to stay and fulfill their promises. God, we're kidding ourselves. I want you to take a breath, get patient, and focus on what I'm saying. This one thing will seriously change the way you look at your goals and your working system. Instead of setting vague goals, focus on setting action goals. What are action goals? Action goals mean you know what you will be doing to achieve your dream life. Action goals define clear cut what you are supposed to do every day to move one step closer to your destination. When I set an action goal, I made it clear that my target is to write, which is an action, every day, which defines how often I'm supposed to take action. Now it's your turn. Again, don't overwork yourself. Take out a piece of paper and write in front of that big issue one action goal. Yes, make it clear enough for yourself what's the one action you will perform every day to get closer to your destination, and then no matter what, do it. Step 3: know your nature and sync your activities. One of the biggest things about human nature is the more you force yourself into doing something, the more you feel low and depressed, like it's been imposed on you. In the past, whenever I tried to follow great habits and attractive routines, I always failed. One of the habits that I always wanted to adopt was waking up at 5 a.m. I wholeheartedly believe that there are tons of benefits to waking up early. I even read Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club, and hands down, what an amazing book. Then I also read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it was another great book. I watched a lot of YouTube videos as well on how to wake up early and other creators' early morning routine videos just so I could learn to wake up early. But nothing worked for me. I tried and failed multiple times. My mom to date calls me Sleeping Beauty. The big question was why? Why did I try so hard to wake up early? Not only that, I would curse myself for sleeping till late. But then I came across the concept of the body clock that differs for each individual. In brief, your biological clock controls when you work the best. In simple words, not everyone is meant to be an early riser. Some people work best at night while other prefers the morning time. And after studying more about the concept and my own body, I realized that I'm not an early riser. I work best at night. I feel most creative at night time. And if my goal was to get so much as done, then why was I forcing myself to wake up early? Now that I know when I work best, instead of forcing myself to follow the most followed routine by everyone else, I work when I feel like it. Now, why am I telling you this? The thing is, everyone starts self improvement projects, everyone sets goals, but the majority of them give up. I used to give up as well. I'm sure in the past you must have given up on your goals as well. Why? Because it starts feeling like a punishment after a few days. Initially, when we are working on the dose of motivation, it feels good. But as soon as motivation evaporates, we give up. It feels exhausting, not exciting. All of it is because everyone is different and everyone likes to work differently. If you force yourself to apply someone else's solution, you will lose the grip on your own life. Working on our goals should be fun and exciting, not exhausting. Now, to make it fun, we need to allow ourselves to be flexible, to free ourselves from traditional methods of achieving goals. You need to find out how you like to work and what time you work the best. You must feel empowered whenever you take action on your goals. One of my goals for 2023 is to focus on my journey as an author. My big action goal was to write 10 pages every day. I don't sit down to write first thing in the morning as most people recommend because, in my opinion, you cannot write if you don't want to. Writing to me is not about a routine but music to my heart. You cannot force yourself to listen to music. So instead of forcing myself to write first thing in the morning, I write whenever I feel like it. That's how it's more fun to me. Another example from my life is that I always wanted to stay fit. I used to set the target of hitting the gym every day and imagine myself getting in shape, but it never lasted for more than a week or two. So this year, I set the goal to move my body every day, but how I do it is on me. Now, not what is cool and famous. I sometimes prefer to dance and do yoga, while other times I just wake up early and go cycling for 10 to 12 kilometers. That's how I want to work. Do you see the difference? I'm moving towards my goal every day, but in a way I want. I'm not forcing myself to do a certain thing in a certain way. It's my life and I'll achieve my goals in ways I'm comfortable in. I just suggest you do the same. Instead of making things a burden for you, make things fun. Shake it up a bit. Focus on what you would like to do today and how can you make even the mundane things fun. The point is you don't remain the same. You evolve. Your preferences change and your working style changes. And what worked for you yesterday may not work for you tomorrow. Now go ahead and summarize this chapter to set your actionable goals for yourself and start your self improvement streak today. Chapter 9, The Action Plan. You cannot build your dream life until you figure out what you don't like about your life right now. Do you want to change your life? Everyone does. But the question is why? Can you give me two reasons why you want to change your life? What is something you hate about yourself or your life that is itching you to change your life? If you cannot come up with two strong reasons, then all of us will just feel like a motivational speech to you, which you'll forget in the next 2 days. Without knowing what you want to change, what will you work towards to change? You need to sit down and make a conscious list. What are some of the things you don't like in yourself or your life? Knowing what needs to be changed is the first step towards your dream life. It's obvious that your dream life looks different from your current life. That's why we call it dream life. So ask yourself, what is the difference between your dream and your current life? Not only the professional reason, but dig deeper and analyze differences in each area of your life. When I say each area, I mean personal, professional, emotional, and mental differences. When I say each area of your life, I mean what your dream day to day life look likes. It's not a sudden magical one day thing. To be able to create your dream life one day, you will have to act like your dream version every day. Read that again until it sinks deep within your soul. Life doesn't change one day magically. You change how you live every day. So let me say it again. Take a pause, sit down at a quiet place, take a piece of paper and write down 5 things that you don't like in your life right now. Whether it's your current job or your sleeping schedule, no one is coming to make that list for you. You need to do that for yourself today or wait until you're 70 to regret the life you lived. You cannot become the person of your dreams if you don't imagine what your dream version looks like and if you don't know what is wrong with your current version. Let me tell you a secret. It's okay to be harsh on yourself sometimes because extreme self love can take you away from reality and you start living in an imaginary bubble. We don't want that. We want to love who we are and be excited about who we are in the process of becoming. So be honest with yourself. Don't pretend, oh, I'm the perfect person and there is nothing wrong in my life. Nope, darling. That's toxic self love. Your deeper inner self knows what you are capable of and how you are living less than your real potential. This gap creates self loathing, and this gap can be filled by starting to become honest with ourselves. Be honest with yourself. Before you demand anything from others, learn to be honest with yourself. Have the courage to accept that you are the one killing all your dreams. Stand tall against the lies or your brain might want to throw at you. You'll meet enough people in your life whose actions won't match their words. You'll meet a lot of people who are going to lie to you. While you cannot control how others treat you, you can learn to be honest with yourself. Deep down, you always know what's best for you. You can sense when to leave a person because you're just being used. You realize when you did wrong and when you were wronged. You just stay in your comfort zone and keep things as they are, and your brain will play tricks on you. You'll make great excuses to convince yourself not to start working, give a person another chance, or keep eating junk food until Monday. That's because honesty with yourself is the toughest thing. You get to live your worst fears and are left with no option but to work to improve things. Yet, honesty with yourself will make your life way more satisfying. You will be happy knowing you did what was best for you. That's where self satisfaction starts. Step 1. The power of one thing. One of the biggest mistakes we make while trying to improve ourselves is that we focus on everything at once. We try to hit the gym every day, make a gratitude list every day, eat healthy every day, and the like. Focusing on everything at once drags us down to a level where we find ourselves giving up on everything and later accusing ourselves of being a failure. You cannot change everything at once if you try to. You will just burn yourself. You will make the journey toxic and suffocating for yourself. And even after working so hard, when you don't get results in any of the areas of your life, you give up on everything. And what does that do? It lowers your self respect. You start thinking that you can never achieve anything good in life. The catch is to focus on one thing at a time. Why? Because changing one thing in your routine is easier, it easily sinks in, and when you start seeing the result in one area, not only do you feel happy but your self-respect increases too. You gain confidence to try to improve more things in your life. In 2020, I resigned from a job in the hope that I would become a successful freelancer. I tried and failed. For months, I didn't get a single client. I was depressed and had no means to pay my bills. That was the time when all my college mates were earning great money, having vacations and buying stuff with their own money. I was jealous and I just wanted to prove to myself that I was moving forward. So I started writing on Medium, which is a platform for writers. I didn't have any hopes for my endeavor. I just wanted to prove to myself that I was doing something at least. I hit the goal of writing one article every day. 10 months later, I had 10,000 followers, and that wasn't enough. I received so much from my audience that it boosted my confidence. I started viewing myself as a loved writer. I always believed in the power of words, but after receiving so much love on Medium, I started believing in the power of my words. And that's how I ended up writing my first book, The Wounds of My Words. It still feels like a dream, an illusion. If someone had told my 10-year-old version that I would be an author one day, my child version would have laughed. If someone had told me in 2020 that I would be an author one day, I would have become even more depressed that they were making fun of my situation. I didn't consider myself a good writer, but now, oh god, I cannot believe I'm writing my second book. It all happened because I made one decision in 2020, and it wasn't just a decision, it was an action. One action every day for 10 months transformed me from an underconfident writer to a loved author. I want you to do the same. Forget about big sudden changes. Forget the hope of magic. Take out that list you made earlier and pick one big issue from that list. What do I mean by one big issue? Well, back in 2020, a lot of things were going wrong in my life. I wasn't in good shape. I had skin allergies all over my body. I didn't have any idea where my career was going, and all of it dragged my mental health down. See, you need to understand one important thing here. People will ask you to work on your mental health as if it's homework from your school teacher. Your mental health is a result of the current state of your life. If something is going wrong in your life, then mentally you will feel stressed, depressed, or anxious. The bigger the issue, the more stressed you will feel. In my case, my career was my biggest concern. My second job was quite toxic, and my boss used to yell at me now and then. She used to say that I could never make it as a writer. I was doing the work of an intern there, and when I left my job in the hope of a brighter future just to find myself struggling to get clients, my boss's words started ringing in my head like an alarm. I started believing her words as truth. I started questioning my worth, and all of it made me depressed. After reading over 200 books, if there is anything that I have understood, it's this: action is the cure for almost everything. So I decided to jump on Medium. Now, you know how the rest of it goes. You'll find a lot of flaws in how you are living today. There might be a bunch of things that you don't like about your life at the moment. But you need to understand that you are not a magician. You cannot make everything work at once. You need to become an essentialist here. Choose the one biggest issue you are facing in your life right now. What is that one thing that keeps pulling you down? What is that one area of your life that makes you feel anxious and distressed? What is that one aspect of your life that makes you feel stuck in one place? Identify that one big issue. This one big issue can be the reason why you don't like to be alone. You you know that as soon as you are alone, your mind will send you notifications of what's wrong in your life. You know that when you are with yourself with nothing to do, your mind will pull you back, reminding you that your life sucks. You'll feel the itch to change and improve everything at once, but remember that you are a human. You cannot focus on multiple things at once with similar efficiency. When you are focused on improving one thing, not only does it become easier to measure your performance, but you also feel excited. You don't feel the pressure of changing your world in one day. Now, I would suggest you close the book for a while and take some time to identify that one big issue, because next we will discuss how you can work on that one area. Step 2: one big action. After deciding which area of your life needs more attention, it's time to take action. But the question is where to start. Most people make the mistake of randomly starting with external motivation, and by the next week, they feel clueless. It used to happen to me all the time. In the past, I tried to adopt a healthy lifestyle. I would feel motivated and decided, what? I'm going to become healthier this year? Well, in less than a week, I would find myself stuffing fries and pizza in my mouth whilst watching a rom-com on Netflix. But as I shared earlier, when I started writing on Medium, I had just one goal, and that goal was based on action. From the very first day, I was clear. I even wrote this on my WhatsApp group. I have a group with myself where only I am added. It's a great hack. Make a group only for yourself and send yourself messages that you would like to receive from others, messages that you can send to your current self to calm down and think straight, or maybe a few things as a reminder. I messaged myself that my goal is to write one article every day. I never made any Excel sheets or brought any templates or any cute journal to track my progress. Do you know why? Because I didn't overburden myself. How tough is to track one action, one article every day? Either I wrote or didn't. Simple, right? You need to understand that setting big goals that sound cool and energetic is fine. It shows your enthusiasm, but it also represents that you are out of your mind. People set goals all the time. They keep making giant promises to themselves only to make excuses in the end. And then they expect other people to stay and fulfill their promises. God, we're kidding ourselves. I want you to take a breath, get patient, and focus on what I'm saying. This one thing will seriously change the way you look at your goals and your working system. Instead of setting vague goals, focus on setting action goals. What are action goals? Action goals mean you know what you will be doing to achieve your dream life. Action goals define clear cut what you are supposed to do every day to move one step closer to your destination. When I set an action goal, I made it clear that my target is to write, which is an action every day, which defines how often I'm supposed to take action. Now it's your turn. Again, don't overwork yourself. Take out a piece of paper and write in front of that big issue one action goal. Yes, make it clear enough for yourself what's the one action you will perform every day to get closer to your destination, and then no matter what, do it. Step 3. Know your nature and sync your activities. One of the biggest things about human nature is the more you force yourself into doing something, the more you feel low and depressed, like it's been imposed on you. In the past, whenever I tried to follow great habits and attractive routines, I always failed. One of the habits that I always wanted to adopt was waking up at 5 a.m. I wholeheartedly believe that there are tons of benefits to waking up early. I even read Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club, and hands down, what an amazing book. Then I also read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it was another great book. I watched a lot of YouTube videos as well on how to wake up early and other creators' early morning routine videos just so I could learn to wake up early. But nothing worked for me. I tried and failed multiple times. My mom to date calls me Sleeping Beauty. The big question was why? Why did I try so hard to wake up early? Not only that, I would curse myself for sleeping till late. But then I came across the concept of the body clock that differs for each individual. In brief, your biological clock controls when you work the best. In simple words, not everyone is meant to be an early riser. Some people work best at night while others prefers the morning time. And after studying more about the concept and my own body, I realized that I'm not an early riser. I work best at night. I feel most creative at night time. And if my goal was to get so much as done, then why was I forcing myself to wake up early? Now that I know when I work best, instead of forcing myself to follow the most followed routine by everyone else, I work when I feel like it. Now, why am I telling you this? The thing is, everyone starts self improvement projects, everyone sets goals, but the majority of them give up. I used to give up as well. I'm sure in the past you must have given up on your goals as well. Why? Because it starts feeling like a punishment after a few days. Initially, when we are working on the dose of motivation, it feels good. But as soon as motivation evaporates, we give up. It feels exhausting, not exciting. All of it is because everyone is different and everyone likes to work differently. If you force yourself to apply someone else's solution, you will lose the grip on your own life. Working on our goals should be fun and exciting, not exhausting. Now, to make it fun, we need to allow ourselves to be flexible, to free ourselves from traditional methods of achieving goals. You need to find out how you like to work and what time you work the best. You must feel empowered whenever you take action on your goals. One of my goals for 2023 is to focus on my journey as an author. My big action goal was to write 10 pages every day. I don't sit down to write first thing in the morning as most people recommend because, in my opinion, you cannot write if you don't want to. Writing to me is not about a routine but music to my heart. You cannot force yourself to listen to music. So instead, of forcing myself to write first thing in the morning. I write whenever I feel like it. That's how it's more fun to me. Another example from my life is that I always wanted to stay fit. I used to set the target of hitting the gym every day and imagine myself getting in shape, but it never lasted for more than a week or two. So this year, I set the goal to move my body every day, but how I do it is on me. Not what is cool and famous. I sometimes prefer to dance and do yoga, while other times I just wake up early and go cycling for 10 to 12 kilometers. That's how I want to work. Do you see the difference? I'm moving towards my goal every day, but in a way I want. I'm not forcing myself to do a certain thing in a certain way. It's my life and I'll achieve my goals in ways I'm comfortable in. I just suggest you do the same. Instead of making things a burden for you, make things fun. Shake it up a bit. Focus on what you would like to do today and how can you make even the mundane things fun. The point is you don't remain the same. You evolve. Your preferences change and your working style changes. And what worked for you yesterday may not work for you tomorrow. Now go ahead and summarize this chapter to set your actionable goals for yourself and start your self-improvement streak today. Chapter 10. Make your alone time addictive. Why do you enjoy spending time with people you love while hate being around certain people? Because time flies with the people you love and the people who love you. They make their presence addictive for you. They share so much love, compassion, laughter, secrets, and hugs that you look forward to these things, don't you? And when you are not with them, you miss all these sweet little things. Similarly, you don't like being around certain people because with them, time becomes the devil. They don't get you. They have nothing to offer you, no love or similar interest. If you don't get it, what I'm trying to say here, let me put it straightforwardly. The reason you don't like spending time with yourself is that your relationship with yourself falls into the second category. You have nothing to offer yourself, no love or joy. As I shared, when I came back to my hometown, my school friends didn't want to keep in touch with me. However, now they message me to ask me if I would like to hang out. I don't know what changed, but now I don't want to go with them. I feel so comfortable and happy and peaceful at home doing my stuff that I don't have any interest in becoming someone's doll. Old Renuka would have gone, but not me. Why? Because I have more interesting things to do. I have created other ways to entertain myself. I have transformed my alone time from miserable to addictive. And I want you something similar as well. How? Let's discuss that. First, create multiple sources of joy. There are a lot of wishes that are buried in your heart, things that you always wanted to try but which you never got the time for, a specific hobby or skill that you wanted to adopt but you never had free time to pursue. Except you always had an abundance of time to scroll through social media or watch Netflix on a loop. You just didn't have the time to do what your heart craved. As a children, we used to be excited to try new things or play new games without worrying about perfection or productivity. But as we started becoming adults, the load of responsibility, the burden of becoming successful, and the need to prove our worth eliminated every single joy from our lives. Some hobbies used to set our hearts on fire, which today are not a part of our lives. There were picnic spots that we used to feel excited about going to, but today we sit on our sofa all day just to complain we have nowhere to go. How did that happen? Perhaps as kids we were fine with the little joys of life. Kids find a way to entertain themselves. That's why they are happy at almost all times. They know how to make themselves happy. However, adults are mostly sad because we expect others to come and entertain us, and when no one comes, we end up feeling lonely. If I ask you, what is the one thing you do every day to make yourself happy? What should you say? Hard to answer. I know. I have been there as well. It's easier to expect the world to be our cheerleader, but it's hard to look in the mirror and question what we do for ourselves. No wonder we feel lonely. But hey, I'm not your mother, so it's not my job to push you. I understand that being an adult is not easy. It's just a lot. You have to take care of everything all at once whilst taking care of yourself too. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how hard you try, how much you work, and how overworked you feel at the end of the day. What matters is, do you even do one single task in your day that makes you feel satisfied? We don't feel exhausted because we try too hard. We feel exhausted because we do little of what truly makes us happy. So perhaps if you do even just one thing intentionally that makes you feel connected to yourself, to your inner child, then life will start feeling like a joy. We must have at least one thing in our day to day life that we are excited about, something to look forward to. Joy wouldn't come looking for, it's you who has to find it, and if you cannot find it, then create the sources of joy in your life. There is a lot that you will have to do to survive and to get ahead in life. Make sure you do something every day so joy doesn't get left behind. Make your life joyful, not just bearable and at the mercy of weekends. I know it's easier said than done, but enough of making excuses for not trying something you always wanted to. Your inner self has been waiting forever for you to catch up on life and start doing things that matter to you. You have waited enough for others and the world to bring joy to your life. Now it's your turn to intentionally create a joyful life. Not just a happy life, but a joyful one. Happiness is a cheap thing. Joy makes life rich, and the good thing is, you can always find at least one source of joy in your life if you look for it intentionally. But why am I using the word intentionally repetitively? Because it's easier to slip back to your default setting and blame the world for everything that goes wrong in your life. But when you take the responsibility and look for something to fill your day with joy, with complete awareness, you find that almost everything turns into fun when you do it with full self awareness. It could be as small as the smell of your morning tea, the rays of sunshine kissing your cheeks, or the way some stranger looked at you. It's in the small moments that you can find joy hidden for you to find it. Play with it. Joy is playing hide and seek with you. It's your task to find it somewhere deep inside your heart. To give you an example from my life, I always hated my hometown because it's too small. My city is so small that it doesn't have anything that I enjoy. We don't have any park, no library, no bookstore, and absolutely no art galleries. But if I had waited for these things to improve, I would still have been waiting. So instead of playing the blame game or victimizing my character, I chose to create sources of joy with what I already had. I started taking evening walks in the narrow streets of my city. I don't expect much from my evening walks. I just expect to take a pause, a break from a world where everyone is rushing to win the race of life. These evening walks allow me to renew my perception and look at my city with awe, to pay attention to things that were invisible to my eyes before, to find a little piece of history in some of the old houses and their mysterious doors, to look at the same faces doing the same monotonous thing but notice something that might surprise me. There is a reason I chose taking walks in the evening. I wanted to look at people and observe them for a split second before I wandered into my mind. I wanted to become a part of someone's life secretly. To this day, my evening walks are something I look forward to. Whether I'm in my hometown or somewhere else, this is what keeps me excited throughout the day. Especially in the afternoon when I feel tired and sleepy. I feel excited to take a pause and see something that I never paid attention to. It's so small and probably insignificant to most, but it matters to me. It helps me to unwind, take a break from worldly pressure. I strongly suggest you to try to find joy in little things. Maybe drink your morning coffee while listening to your favorite music, and without rushing the entire process, maybe cook your food with a candle and romantic songs to accompany you. Your heart already knows where joy lies for you. Follow your heart's guidance and let it lead you to create a joyful day-to-day life. The point is, either you find joy or the sorry finds you. Learn new skills and challenge yourself. I always wanted to learn swimming, calligraphy, and the German language. There are endless things that I still want to learn. Sometimes I feel this burning desire in my heart to learn new things, but I never paid much attention to my desire to learn new skills because who has the time, and I I don't know why. Why we wait our entire life to try something new or why we feel scared to learn new things. We somehow manage to waste hours on social media, but it becomes tough to spare 15 minutes every day to dedicate to a new skill. We are living in a world where learning anything new is as easy as opening YouTube without paying a single buck. All the resources are available at our fingertips for free, yet we find some excuses or lies to throw at our faces. Hey, generous, I always wondered if I want to learn all these things, what is stopping me? I waited for an answer just to realize that I had been fooling myself all this time. We all have time. Time is not the issue if you truly want to do something. The issue is your habit of making silly excuses. Not even excuses, your habit of lying to yourself with perfection as if you will receive an award for it. In the past year, I have learned three new skills. The recent one is something that I have wanted to learn since I was 16. I started learning crocheting almost a few months back. Yeah. Now that I know it, I feel super excited every day to make something new. I keep watching YouTube videos on how to crochet a bag or save pins of cute crochet tops on Pinterest. It all feels excited. I feel that I have a life beyond my work. With every new thing I make, I feel like I am growing. It feels exciting to know that I am learning something that I always wanted to. I feel excited to know that this can turn into something unexpected. Yesterday, I was trying to sleep, but all I could think of was trying a new pattern of crocheting, so I got up and started crocheting. I understand that you might not have time to try or learn new things. You can take at least 15-20 minutes every day if you try, not for anyone else but for yourself. I can only suggest you make your life exciting. Learn something new that you always wanted to. Maybe knitting or swimming or a new language. It will take time to master new skill, but the process will fill your day-to-day life with excitement. Your mind will be awake again. You will start having creative ideas, and all of it will feel like a perfect life. So give it a try. Make your alone time addictive by learning something and doing things that you like. Try something that you always wanted to do. Ask yourself what you wanted to learn, but you never gave your interest enough attention. Is it dancing? Learning a new language? Whatever it is, just focus on learning it. Make your alone time your growth time. Feed your brain with knowledge. Do you know what's the most pathetic lie told to us? We are manipulated into believing that studying is boring and people who read books and constantly are in search of learning something new are geeks. Most movies, books, and series paint this idea in our brain that if you are in your 20s, live wildly, get drunk, do stupid things, and so on. The media and entertainment industry have successfully created a belief in our minds that those who study hard in school, college are stupid, weird kids who have no means to enjoy life. This is happening intentionally. This whole system is designed carefully. It's not random that most people prefer to get drunk on weekends instead of sitting down with a book in a nice park or library. It's not random. It's designed to make us mentally weak so that we stay a follower, not a leader. And to top it all, the education system in every country is designed in such a way that we are bound to hate books. Isn't it pathetic how every student is supposed to be good at every subject that some authorities chose for us years ago? And we all are supposed to study hard and prove our intelligence based on our scores in subjects that were forced on us. No wonder people hate books. But do you know what's the good thing? The good thing is you're not in school anymore. And even if you are in college or school, you can still take the responsibility to feed your brain with the knowledge that you think is important to win in real life. School and that strict system are over. And as we discussed, you are on your own. You can choose to read the books that make you feel excited and help you grow in life. When my college came to an end, I promised myself that I would never read a book ever again in my life until I was forced to. I simply hated books. In all 3 years of my college life and countless years of school, I never found anything worth applying in real life. My degree didn't offer a good job, so what was the use? Books are boring. Why would anyone read them? Oh wait, that's old Renuka talking. In 2020, during the lockdown, I picked up my first book I was suffering from extreme frustration, mental breakdown, and various other personal and professional life problems. And it was during that time I read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Not only did this book help me see everything clearly, but it also made me fall in love with books. Since then, I have read more than 200 books. There was a time when I was addicted to books, one page after another, one book after another. Books became like drugs to me. My college was over. I didn't have professors or anyone else to guide me. And being an extremely underconfident person, I always needed someone to guide me. So when books helped me, whatever I needed help with, I would start reading a book on that topic. That's it. Since then, my life has changed in ways I cannot explain to you. And as cliche as it may sound, books are powerful and words hold the power to change your entire life. I have lived that philosophy. My life is the epitome of this belief. Books have transformed me. Books helped me understand myself and the world. Books have helped me feed my brain with the knowledge and wisdom of those who have experienced more than me in life. Books have helped me learn from the mistakes of others and learn to be kind and empathetic. Books have made me smarter. Books have fueled the air of wisdom in me, and with every breath I exhaled, I became confident and more successful in life. Books are not boring, books are magical. They hold the power to transform you and your dream version. And most importantly, books are our best friend. They don't leave you like people do. If you read a book, its knowledge is going to be with you forever, and during the time of need, it will guide you. That's what you expect from a friend, don't you? You want your best friend to be honest with you. Well, books are honest with you. They show you the mirror while helping you become better at the same time. During the times when I needed someone to guide me, I found the wisdom of books to guide me in every aspect of life. Stop letting the media fool you. Books are more interesting than you can imagine. Read books of every genre. If you want to learn to live a better life, read self-help books. If you want to learn how to think better, read great philosophers. If you want to become mentally strong, read spiritual books. If you want to spice up your life, read fantasy. If you want to understand humans, read fiction. Books have it all. Read books and feed your brain. In your free time, or what you call alone time, take out a book and read at least 5 pages. Allow yourself to drown in the pool of words. Read books on the topics that pique your interest. Read books written by your industry expert and learn what they have learned after spending decades working. Read books written by people who inspire you and make yourself a tiny part of them by consuming their words. Enough of excuses and drama. You have got so much to look forward to, so much to grow and learn, and books are the easiest way to learn and grow in life. Not only books, but dedicate yourself to learning. Make it your goal to feed your brain with knowledge. If not books, then go ahead and listen to the podcast and speeches by your favorite people. Listen to the TED Talks of the people who inspire you. If there is any topic that piques your curiosity, don't let it die a slow death in your mind. Get up and search about what topic on the internet. Go on to the YouTube or masterclass. The point is to find your brain with knowledge, not garbage. You don't have the time to complain about how people left you. There is so much out there that you need to learn. There are so many topics and books that will make you feel a little more alive. Dedicate your time to that. Fun exercise. To make it a little fun, create a separate folder on your laptop, mobile, or buy a separate notebook for everything you learn on your own. Give this folder or notebook the name Feeding My Mind. Add every little thing you learn in this notebook. If you listen to a podcast, TED Talk, add the summary of it, even if just in bullet points. If there is a topic that you would like to search about, note down the topic, schedule a date with your brain, and spend time learning about the topic concept. If you read a book, write everything you learned and everything you would want to implement in your life. If there is a person who inspires you, create a profile of that person in your notebook. Write the name of the person, add his or her picture, and then write everything you learned about this person. Let this notebook or separate folder be the symbol of your first step towards your transformation. Let this book define that you're ready to grow in life and build your best version. In the end, I would say, don't let time
slip from your hands. Educate yourself, train yourself, and most of all, have fun with yourself.
Chapter 11. Become independent. I am an extremely fun and imaginative person, but I have a bad habit of leaving my sentences incomplete. What I wanted to say was, I am an extremely fun and imaginative person in my mind. I always imagine myself having fun with my friends, especially when I started college. I guess I have always been like this. As soon as I made new friends, I would imagine myself enjoying myself with them. Staying overnight, watching a movie together, exploring different cities, and all that stuff that probably makes me sound too desperate. I remember when I started college, I had imagined that I would be meeting some amazing friends and we would go out to explore this new city every weekend. Or maybe we should become a part of the same NGO and other tidbits from what I had learned from movies. But college was exactly the opposite. For the first few weeks, I wasn't even able to say hello to anyone without looking at my shoes because I was too shy and underconfident. And when I made friends, we used to stay in our rooms all the time because none of them ever wanted to go out and try anything new. Something similar happened when I came home after college. I thought I had time to build my career, and once I did that, I would travel to all the popular cities of my country, stay there for a few weeks, and make some nice friends for a lifetime. I built my career and started traveling, which ended by covering just 2 cities. Do you know why? Because the reality wasn't as amazing as I had fantasized about. What I realized from experience is that at all times we expect to have fun with other people. We imagine how we will go out for a party with our friends, how we will go on a dinner date with our partner, how we will go for a picnic with our family and a few occasional brunch dates with our best friends. The problem emerges when our fascinating imagination doesn't match our reality. When people forget their brunch with you or cannot make time from their busy schedule to go partying with you, or if they don't like to do the same thing for fun as you do, and other people are not to be blamed for this. They cannot function as per your desires or mood. They have a life too.
It's not anyone's job to satisfy your desires or manifest your imagination into reality.
But the desire is there in your heart and someone should pay attention to it. And that someone should be you. You cannot bury your desires in your heart just because others don't acknowledge them. This chapter is the shortest one because what I want to tell you is a simple truth about adulthood and how you can have fun with yourself. Also, this is the last chapter because what you will learn in this chapter is probably the last thing you will need to find happiness on your own. The one thing that I want you to take with you from this book, and the one thing that it has helped me over the years, is this:
do the things that you want to do with others, but with yourself.
I always wanted to do one of those sleepovers where all friends come over, we light some candles, create a good environment, arrange comforting food, and watch one of our favorite movies. I used to see this in movies and I imagined it would be fun to do this with my friends. But after college, you didn't get to do these things. Everyone becomes an adult with a baggage of responsibilities, and these little things stop making sense. No one would want to waste their time doing it. So I figured, so what if my friends cannot come? I can do this for myself. Whenever I feel burned out with my work or general life worries, I dim the lights, light a candle, order pasta, make iced coffee, and watch a Christmas movie. I'm telling you, it feels heavenly. I honestly feel like I'm no longer a part of the world, at least for a few hours. The bottom line is that I had a desire to do a complete movie setup, and I fulfilled that desire. I became independent of my needs. I hold myself accountable for my imagination, not anyone else. If I had waited for my friends to appear, I would have still been waiting. Besides, not everyone has the luxury to work from anywhere at any time. I have, and I understand what my friends don't. Similarly, I always like the idea of a picnic. So once every month, I travel around 40 minutes to get to the space where there is a huge open ground. I go there with my book and I take my journal as well as my crocheting stuff. I also pack something to eat. Mostly I take my iced coffee, and a donut. And do I need to mention how amazing that feels? It feels like real self care. I do the things that I desire with myself. And if I were your mother, I would push you out of the door to go and do everything that you always wanted to do, but never did because you didn't have an army of people to accompany you. It's been a long time since you have been waiting for others to understand your desires and then turn them into reality. It's time you do everything that you desire with yourself. Plan a dinner date with yourself at the end or start of every month. Take yourself for a coffee date. Click pretty pictures of yourself. Talk to yourself about how your day went, what you did in your day, or maybe how you would like to start the next day. Give your room a makeover or write a love letter to yourself that you want to receive from others, but yourself a flower, or better, buy a plant so it always reminds you that you have got your back. Gift yourself something special every time you accomplish a big goal. Praise yourself and say it out loud. I am proud of myself. Ask, if possible, write an I missed myself letter to yourself. I know it sounds weird, but try it. Write down how you have been missing yourself. Write how you have been ignorant towards yourself and why you will never repeat this mistake. Write how you never did everything you ever wanted and how you will do everything you always wanted to from now on. Whatever you plan to do, whatever it is, buying yourself flowers or coffee, do it intentionally and do it romantically. If you decide to go on a dinner date with yourself, make the effort to look good and put on your favorite dress. Romanticize the actions that you take for yourself. Acknowledge your desires and turn them into something better than your imagination. It's all about making an effort for yourself. Because guess what? The world is like a big dinner party where you are supposed to serve yourself. If you expect people to first put your desired dish on your plate, you will starve. You wouldn't get to taste what's out there. Everyone is busy serving themselves with what they think they want to taste. Take this book as a sign to see what's available out there and what you would like to explore, and then go get it yourself because, as I said, you are on your own.